coming to you from the all-new Live House in Hollywood, California.
Hi everybody, welcome to this week's episode in Pensado's Place. In a second, you're going to meet our guest. He's Grammy nominated, he's a DJ, he's a very talented guy named Hector Delgado. But first, if you want to advance your knowledge and your career, got to consider the Blackbird Academy, one of the best ever. They've got live classes starting April 8th and July 8th. And also they do a very cool high school summer camp. Those go for a week each. Two that are open are July 15th through 19th and August 5th through the 9th. You can get a lot of information, get the whole thing in 1 week. Very cool if you're down in that area. For information, hit theblackbirdacademy.com or email karma at theblackbirdacademy.com and tell them we sent you. If you would, sign up for our newsletter and take a moment to like, subscribe, and click notify. And it wouldn't be Pensado's Place if we didn't have this week's ITL. What do you have?
Herb, I'm going to show you some ways that I use transient shaping to increase the energy in a song. Check it out. Hey everybody. Sometimes when I walk into the studio, one of my team members is mixing because I like them to mix and they like to mix, and it's a good way to work. I recently walked in on Jaime Estelalia, and he was mixing this artist, and I fell in love with it immediately. Jaime asked me what I thought about this guitar, and I gave him this idea, and he just killed it. So let's check this out. This is Xenia, produced by Mambrou.
On a mission for more. It's such a challenge, got tightrope balance, but it's worth.
Okay, so that's without it, and here's with it. So now you've heard both. Let's see what happens inside the track. We want the energy to go up as we come into this chorus. It's subtle, but you can kind of you really kind of hear it. Let me exaggerate it a little bit. Now what you heard was the volume. I turned the volume up that time, but without the volume coming up, you hear more of the attack. You hear a little more clarity on the top end of the guitar. And what you're trying to do is not, in a song like this, you're not trying to beat the listener over the head with this. You're trying to just give a slight feeling like something lifted. I'm going to experiment with a different frequency. We're down a little low here. I think it might be cool to try one a little bit lower first. Let's try it. That works. Now let's try a higher one. They're all good and they all give you a different feeling, so it's more or less what you want to do. Now this actually works on more than just guitars. It can work on bass. You might start a little lower down in here, and you can do this with any transient designer, transient shaper. I happen to like this one. There's so many good ones out there. You've seen me use a lot of them in the past. But always look for ways to make your chorus lift a little bit, because you want to take the listener on an emotional kind of roller coaster ride. And so when you lift that chorus up, now you're going to come back into a verse. So you have to figure out a way to take the listener from a little more energy to a little less energy. Then you go to a pre-section, you create a little bit of tension there, and you come up a little bit, and then when you go to the chorus, see you next time.
From Danger Mouse to the architect of the ASAP Mob sound and a whole lot more, he stopped by the set recently and we had a good visit with him. Hope you enjoy our conversation with producer, engineer, and DJ Hector Delgado.
What up, man?
Yeah, good to see you, my friend.
Okay, so your work is really fundamental to a couple of different camps that are absolutely killing it. One of the ones that you identify closely with is the whole ASAP mob.
Yeah, that's my brother's.
And you, I mean, we're going to get into different parts of it, but beyond what you do with ASAP Rocky, which we'll talk about in a second, describe the ASAP mob, where it came from, its origin, and so forth.
The founder, Yams, who passed away in 2015, was the visionary. You know, he put us all together like Voltron.
He's like a genius.
He is a genius, man. He was like a cultural genius. Like he was just like, and it wasn't limited to like urban. He knew all different facets, and he was a friend of everybody's, and he brought us all together. You know what I'm saying? Like he just like. We had mutual friends, and it just all came together. Like sometimes, like things just happen. And that's how my life's been. I kind of just went with the flow of things. You know what I'm saying? Wherever like I felt like I was supposed to be, I kind of went.
But he had the ability to meet a country artist and break down his music.
He could. I mean, he would meet it. Like, I mean, there's times he met Mark Ronson. I mean, he met like different guys, and he would just break down songs, like obscure songs, like that. Like they would be blown back, like and that's what would make people take the time to even listen to him, because he was like very eccentric looking and very like so. If you first come across him, you probably might be scared of Yams. You know what I'm saying? But like once you met him, he was like the coolest guy ever. You know.
This was all in Queens.
And Harlem, yeah.
And so the collective had musical artists, painters, video people.
It is. It's basically, a bunch of creative kids that just that got along together and just saw the vision in the ASAP movement and saw like this could be something, and together we were stronger than individually. Like everybody was good at what they did, but like when you're around a lot of people that are good, it makes you even better, because it's like it makes you step your game up. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, man, like one day you go in and you might have you did something amazing, and the next day you might not. But then like the fact that you did something good that day might make me be like, oh man, what he came up with that day was so crazy. Like, and it would make me go home and like work. You know what I'm saying? Like try to step my stuff up for the next show. You know what I'm saying? The next day or whatever it was.
So as you came along, started from DJing.
Yeah, man, that's how I was introduced to music, because I don't come from a musical background. My father's a minister. Like, a friend of mine in New York, he's like, bro, you gotta come see my boy, he DJs. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I was like 10 at the time, and we go to his house, and he's got a whole setup, and I was like instantly blown away. I was like, the fact that you could do that. The fact that you could do that with like touch music, first of all, and, because for me, it was always like the only time I had music was through the radio. You know what I mean? So it's like to be able to like actually put your hand on it and like make it like affect it, and then just remix something live. I was hooked. You know what I mean? So that by the time I was 12, I saved up and I bought turntables, and the same ones I still have now and that I tour with, and it just got me hooked. And from there, I started DJing for groups and being in studios, and then just being like that. Then that just took my experience to the next level. You know what I'm saying? It was like, whoa, like I actually could create it, and this is a possibility. Like this is amazing. Like, and the money was never a thing for me, because I'm like, this is not something you get paid for. I'm like, this is like so much fun. I'm like, how could something so fun and like something that I'm good at, like I couldn't put the two together, you know what I'm saying? It was just like someone asked me to do something, I did it. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, I was like, whoa, this is amazing.
Were you a DJ or?
I'm a turntablist. I'm a turntablist. I am. I come from that era of like, just like, I mean, I still hang. I mean, I just did a record right now that I came out with DJ Cuba, who's like an amazing DJ. I just produced some stuff with him, and just like I support the DJ community, the Beat Junkie School, my boy Undercut, open format. Like I love the whole underground movement of like because to me that's the foundation of especially urban music. Is without the DJs, I mean like it's nothing's happening.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Came from the DJ world. I mean,
And so, at what point in time did the bell go off and you went, God, I could produce this. I could take my skills and produce?
Well, the first thing that, by this time I was living in upstate New York in Syracuse, and a a friend of mine was living in the city still at the time, and they had a friend in East Orange who was working with an up-and-coming group called the Fugees. You know, who nobody knew at the time. You know, so it was at his house. His name was Rashad Muhammad, and we used to go. We used to drive like 4 hours down to the studio and just like they were all up and coming, but like Salam Remy would be on the porch, like everybody would be on the porch. It was like, that was the first time that I was like, whoa, like this could really happen. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like, I felt like, whoa, like this could be really a possibility. And they were loving what I was doing, and I was appreciative. So it was like, I would literally take that drive down by myself for 4 hours, like, and then drive back because I had to work or like go to school or whatever it was.
You
was
drive down, then go back up and work the next morning?
Yes, it was crazy. Wow. It was like, I was like, for me, it was like, it was an opportunity. It was like, I felt like, I mean, it was there for me to take, and if I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was my dream. It was and you know, by that time, then I started DJing for Onyx, and then that was like, I started touring more with that and just being in the studio and then just working. It was like, it was just, my life has been like a Forrest Gump career, just like, you know what I mean? It has, like, you know, and this is all prior to the ASAP stuff, and then even after that, then I did a lot of gospel stuff. You know what I mean? When I moved to LA, I worked with Andre Crouch, and I did all the stuff with like him. You know,
you did something with Michael Jackson.
So he was doing all the stuff with Michael Jackson at the time, so like Lion King and all the songs like that. So I got to be a fly on the wall with them. So it was like, amazing. I'm like watching Bruce and everybody work, and it was like, I'm just like watching vocal arrangements being done by the most amazing vocal arranger in the world, Andre Crouch, and it was just like watching amazing singers sing. And I'm like, okay, this is how it's done, and you know, so I got to be around the Salam Remy's, the Wyclefs, the Andre Crouches, and then, you know, then I went on tour with CeCe Winans. I'm like, I'm pinching myself. I'm like in New Zealand with CeCe Winans, and it was like, you know, it was a blessing. It was like wherever I needed to be at that time in my life, God brought me to that point, and it was like whoever I needed to be around, like that's what, like, you know, it was just like it's been a blessing to be able to, like, I pinch myself every day to wake up and be able to do this. It's like, it's amazing.
What's the magic with you and A$AP Rocky? There's something
I'm
there.
I'm not even lying, like when he walked, like, you know, so at this time by this time I moved to LA, and, you know, I saw a niche where it was like, at that time, you know, there was either you had to go to a big studio or you had like a crappy home studio. So I rented out a building in Van Nuys, which I still have now, and, you know, I built like a really nice middle grade studio where people, it was like, you could not be at your house.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so you could be at your house, and it was like, I was able to, like, you know, help people with budgets, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, Absolutely. It was efficient. So what I did, I had all the best producers that I knew. I had, like, you know, like Banner was working at it, David Banner at Swift, D, THX, T-Minus, Boy Wonder, like everybody, I would let them, you know, everybody work out of my studio. So when artists would come in town, it was like you could just come there, and it was like everybody would be there in one shot, you know what I mean? So it was like, and, you know, Rocky had, you know, just got signed, and they brought him to my studio, and I mean, we clicked instantly, because my name is Delgado, which means thin, and he's he's pretty flaco, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, we have the same last name, you know what I'm saying? It was hilarious to me, you know what I'm saying? It was like, that's my brother, you know what I mean? So it was like, music, we just connected, you know what I'm saying? It was like, from that day, from the day I met him, we've been doing the music together. Like,
and now you're his musical director.
Yeah,
you put the shows together. What's involved in that to put a show out?
Well, I was his DJ I'm his engineer. Like, I was his producer, his engineer, and then his DJ. And I come from that era where it was like, I come from the premiere. So for me, it was an easy hat to wear. You know what I mean? Like, I come from the era where like the DJ was like the producer and the guy who did all the stuff for the artist. So
did you mention DJ Premier?
Yeah, Premier. Okay, yeah. So it's like, you know, I come from that era where it's like, you know, like that guy is the guy. So it's like, you know, for Rocky, I started when the shows were smaller. I mean, there was times where I mixed front of house. I did whatever I needed to do to, you know, to help the show keep running. You know what I'm saying? To help the ASAP. You know, I was like the head of audio, so I was like, whatever needed to be done. I DJ'd, and then as the shows escalated, like the DJing, like you know, Rocky is very, and AUG and everything that we do is very intricate. Where it's like, we don't want to do what everybody else is doing. We're like trying to break.
Thank you, Jesus.
We're literally, you know, and sometimes when you're like the trendsetter, like sometimes people get it, and sometimes people get it early, sometimes people get it late. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, our thing was, we just wanted to do amazing art and put it out there and let people judge it for what it was, you know? So even from our stage shows, I mean, there's times where like, you like even there, like right there on the screen, I mean, you can see we had like a whole jukebox. We were traveling around with jukeboxes and a whole diner set, and we had waitresses on stage serving shakes to the people in the festival. Wow. I mean, we do different things. It's like, we want to have people have an experience when they come to the show.
On the album Testing, by the way, which has gotten some kind of mixed review.
Yeah.
I love that record because, like, you guys took complete and total chances. I mean, you got some psychedelic stuff in there.
Yeah, we
you got
did,
some
man.
really, really cool stuff. When Rocky was presenting some of those ideas to you, did you ever question him, or did you just?
Well, all the stuff we do together, like everything, anything musically that we do is literally him and I are a partnership in that. You know what I'm saying? Like
you're right. Some of the critics. They hated Led Zeppelin when they first came out.
So and we came out at a weird time as well. It's like we came out, it's like we live in a day and age where sometimes, like newsworthy stuff is more, it overshadows like something that's art.
People are gonna get this record.
Hopefully, but it's like we came out when the Drake Pusha, we came out the same day as Drake Pusha fight happened. So it's like that just kind of like nobody won that musically. Like nobody, like. We were all like trying to get first place and second place selling like not that many albums, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like we got overshadowed by drama and beef, and it didn't make any sense for anybody, you know what I mean? It was, and it was like
keep working that record, it's gonna do well.
I appreciate it, and I think little by little it was, like I think just like, even sonically, like we didn't use the same snares and kicks that everybody does, and it's like sometimes that rubs people the wrong way at first until you kind of like just sit and get into the mode. And I come from the day where like the Ice Cube, you used to have to listen to the whole albums to get into people's zone, you know what I'm saying? Like. Yeah. And that's really what this was. We wanted to like test people and show people like, look, this is you could be on top and not have to do the cookie cutter. We've never done radio
what's
records.
What's the last song then? Purity,
Purity, yeah.
Man, that alone's a hit.
Thank you, man.
That'll make you cry.
Thank you, man.
That.
And the guy who did that gave us the record, Dean Blunt. Shout out, he's a amazing producer from London. You know what I'm saying? Then. Myself and Fanatic and Zach added to it, but it's not even on the grid. You know what I'm saying? It's something that we took from MTV Unplugged, slowed it down. So it's like it's her and even if you hear the original performance, like and that's what I love about her performance on that. Like she left it raw. She messes up sometimes in it. Like she'll start over. It's like, but it was just like and when we slowed it down, it was like everything we do is from like Houston-based, New York-based. So it was like for us, it was just like whoa. It was like this is a whole different interpretation and then we were like, when we first did it, we were like, oh my God, this is never gonna get cleared. I'm like, she's never gonna, we're never gonna clear this. Like, I mean, like, the stuff we're talking about, like Frank bodied it, but then we presented it to her and she loved it. And it was like, I was like, whoa, so the blessing was there. So we were like, this is magic. It was a great song.
I think musicians are really liking this record, for sure.
Thank you, man.
I also think that part of what you guys, and particularly you, are not afraid to do, or when you collaborate with Rocky or anybody else, is go and deal with, everything doesn't have to turn up.
Yeah.
You'll go be emotional, or you'll go be trippy, or you'll go be, you'll experiment with stuff that's not necessarily what everybody else is doing. Is that you guys don't want to be cookie cutter?
We definitely don't. I mean, we're living from fashion to video. I mean, look at our videos. I mean, we get like when we had a song called LSD that was an amazing song that the name which is sad, the name kind of stopped it from getting really crazy radio airplay. It has like 100 million views on YouTube. It was like on everybody's playlist for the year. It was a great song. The video, and the only thing we got was a nomination for the video. And the video is amazing. And it's like, I mean, if you ever watched Into the Void, we actually went to Japan and shot the video where like the Yakuza had to take us there and like shoot the video. It was like like who does that in hip hop? You know what I'm saying? Like we actually take time to like really do artistic things where it's like if you watch it, it's like if you know culture, you're seeing little things that we're borrowing from and showing you like for the new generation, like look, these are all the things that were amazing from like that we grew up with. You should look at these things, you know what I'm saying? And not like just go with what everybody's wearing or what everybody's doing. Like just like be yourself and be original and do something, and that's the best way to be. Like that's what I always tell people, like if somebody's in this lane and they're not moving, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to make your own lane. And the only way you do that is by not copying anything this person is doing, you know what I'm saying? Like you're never gonna get around this person until this person either dies or retires, you know what I'm saying? Like
What do you technically use in the studio when you're producing?
I use Machine. I mean, you know, and Pro Tools. You know what I mean? Like I end up, my final destination is Pro Tools, and you know that's where. But like all my
Machine,
production
native
is
instrument?
native instruments. I use native instruments. Like on the road, I have an Apollo Twin, which I love. I feel like I love that thing. It's like, especially when, you know, it's like a lot of the stuff we do for Rocky, like the features and stuff we have to do on either a bus or a hotel or a back room. It's like a lot of the features that Rocky have done. I mean, we've done on buses, you know, while the bus is moving. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like so. It's amazing that the tools that we have nowadays allow us to do that.
You get it anywhere.
And at a competitive level, which just blows my mind. I'm like, I have my whole, like, if people ever see me at the airport, I carry around a whole studio, and it's like 6 luggages. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, but it's like the fact that I could carry that around is still a blessing. It's amazing to me, you know, and still we could like have an amazing sound. It's
The
cool.
laptop world.
Yeah, it's crazy.
A friend of ours on the show called the laptop the new folk instrument.
Yeah, no, it's nuts.
Now you're also you have a way of being able to get your skill set, put you in camps. They're very selective about who they have in it. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's a testament to what you do. One of the other camps that you are involved with and close with is the TDE camp.
Yeah, no, that's my brothers too.
And they're very selective about who gets in, right? Because you've done stuff with Schoolboy Q.
Yeah, man, it's amazing. Like, I mean, that goes back to the Forrest Gump thing I was saying. Like all the kids that I saw in my studio, like that had nothing 7 years ago, are literally all the biggest rappers in the world right now. And it's like, and just seeing the progression of that and how humble they've all stayed, because it's like, I always tell people, when you're comfortable in your skin, like you don't have to be like so crazy about like bragging about everything you do. You know what I'm saying? Like or giving a compliment to another person for what they do. That's amazing. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I'm comfortable, and you know what I'm saying. Like when you're comfortable and my ego doesn't push what I do. You know what I'm saying? Like I love giving compliments to people and always saying thank you and I appreciate you, because it's like like even to this day, like I mean half the times like. I've been so like anonymous in what I do that I've always felt like let my work speak for itself. But in this day and age, it's like it's a weird world where it's like you have to let people see what you do. You know what I'm saying? You have to talk about it. But it's like I've always like that's literally what like I just kept my head down and I worked, and it's like I never like stopped to smell the roses, you know what I'm saying? And it's
but I
crazy.
think that's probably, I mean, this is a guess, and maybe this is a good advice for our audience. That's probably what's helped with your success, besides your musical skills and your ability to connect with people and get them to trust you and do what you need to do. You haven't been focused on taking the light. You've been focused on doing the work.
No, for sure, man.
Would that be fair?
That is it. You know, it's like I always felt like, and it actually helped me, like even just for me getting better, because I always felt like, man, if I've never like without having to put my name out there, I felt like if the artist was successful, I was successful. You know what I'm saying? Like I was living through the artist, and it's like I got to live best of both worlds. I get to go live Rocky's world with him and all my brothers, but then I get to also just go to a bar and just sit there by myself and nobody bothers me. And it's like I get to like I literally get the best of both worlds, you know, and I'm thankful for that.
A lot of the projects you do have so many people on them. How do you? I was thinking last night. How do you keep your head so clear and keep everything organized and make it flow right and keep the vision going? Because there's a lot of contributors that are just throwing stuff at you.
It's crazy as the engineer for Rocky and ASAP and stuff, like it's very like I have to like I carry around so many hard drives when I go through TSA. It's like the worst experience ever. Like they all know me now and they laugh because it's like it's ridiculous because it's like. And then I'm super paranoid about like, you know, crashing. So I have like backups of backups, and I have to travel with it. And it's being organized is very difficult. And sometimes I'm like, you know, Rocky will do 100 different versions of a song. And then he'll be like, yo, the one from Berlin on Tuesday, January 5th, the one that had I need the one word from that session. I'm like, oh man, okay, well let me load up that drive. Let me see if I can find that one word, and then, you know, import that one word into the final session. It's just like, it is.
So you're recording shows? Not just going to studios and working in studios?
No. We like as far as like recording Rocky. I'm saying like as far as like the recording of the albums. You know what I'm saying? Like
Okay,
it's just everything we
studio
do.
stuff.
Yeah, it's just like all that stuff is just like he's just very meticulous about like he likes to he'll lay a lot of different references of a verse.
And because you're recording, no matter where you are, you're kind of constantly recording.
Yes.
Bus, hotel, shows, backstage, wherever it is.
And he likes, you know, at the end, like after we record, he likes to have like he'll just do a bunch of different verses, and I have to bounce all those different references. You know what I'm saying? And then from those, he'll listen to them and he'll live with them, and then he'll be like, okay, let's take, you know. Then we'll paste it together and figure out what the puzzle is. You know what I'm saying? But like it's working with him is a different experience. It keeps you on your toes. Like you know what I mean? It definitely
what hard
does.
drives do you like? What brand?
I actually OW the Max sales, their drives are actually pretty like I've never really had a problem with those.
Because you know sometimes the actual process is stuff that we need to let our audience know about, and storing files, being able to get to stuff, being able to.
It's like you can't play around with that. It's like the hard drives, especially like, and the thing is, I go to a lot of studios, and the first thing I always ask, like, is there any bad USB ports? Like, please let me know if there's any like things that I'm plugging into in your studio that I'm not familiar with that is gonna damage my gear. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
happens a lot.
Oh man, like people don't realize that like you know, it'll zap your whole drive or something, and then like at the end of the day, it's your responsibility.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like we've had shows where like the backup of the backup computer died and it's at the end of the day I can't blame Apple. It's I'm the one, the operator. I'm responsible for it. So it's like I try to take every precaution to always like, you know, stay on top of that for sure. It's very serious.
Do you take your experiences live when you're DJing, and does it inform your production when you go back in the studio?
That's one of the cheat codes that I have. I actually like that for real. Like for me, like I get to see like sonically what key, like how people react to music and what keys like work really well, like what frequencies work well with live systems. I mean, because a lot of like, and even for like mixes, like you know, a lot of the stuff we do, you know, for Rocky is we don't do radio records, so we're doing stadium music for him to, you know, we don't have like top 40 records on necessarily our stuff, but like the features that we do have, like we just try to make this like it gives me a cheat code where I could like hear what it's gonna sound like.
Works,
like even the soundtrack, I could like play one of our demos and hear like, okay, I can test a mix there. I can like it gives me a way more like different thing than just having testing it in my car. You know what I'm saying? Like I hear what's gonna sound like for the audience. You know what I'm saying? Like way before they do.
Is there a big difference between? Oh, I'm sorry, Dave. Is there a big difference between prepping for a stadium show versus going into a club?
Definitely. The mix is everything. I mean, the vocals, I mean, like, where you're putting the background vocals in, you know, for a TV track are way higher, like when you're doing a big stadium than at a club, for sure. Like, it's...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, because the amount of bass in music now, it's just, you know what I mean? So when you're on a big system and the amount of subs that we have, I mean, it really pushes that low end, you know what I'm saying? And it just sucks everything in. So it's like we either have to, you know, like, that's why, like, now I can't DJ the shows as well because we're using stems, you know what I'm saying? Like, I reprogrammed, I just programmed all the transition to time code. Like we did all the transition, but a lot of the stuff is stems. I mean, we have like the background stems, so that the front of house engineer could, you know, he has like full like he could just make it fit for every system that we're at, you know.
I'm fascinated by the way different people approach, and this is just for me. So that different people approach chopping up beats. You're pretty good at it.
Thank you.
Explain to some kid or an adult that's trying to get into music and how important chopping a beat up is rather than just letting it play straight through, and your philosophy on it.
To me, it's like, you know, like I said, I come from like the era of like the organized noise, the premieres, the track masters, like, you know what I mean, like where it's like. They would make me have to go look at the original record to figure out how they broke it down. You know what I'm saying? And it's technique. That's why, like, literally everything that we do is technique. You know what I'm saying? And once you learn the technique, anybody could do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all human beings. Like, it's like if you took the time and learned the technique of, like, some people can naturally do it better than others. But like, it's like basketball. Like, we could all play basketball, but we're not Michael Jordan level. You know what I'm saying? But like, and that's one of the things it was like just learning the techniques. You know what I'm saying? It's like.
Are you chopping like on a kick snare or?
It depends, because I was showing somebody the other day in my studio where it's like I'll start with a basic loop, and
like 4-bar.
Yeah, like a 4-bar loop, and like once I get a groove, I'll nudge it so it's like where what used to be the start point is maybe now is like moved over a measure, and then I'll nudge stuff over to like then it's landing the chop on a different part of the beat, and it's also changing the groove, and then from there I could find a cool like something cool that I didn't hear like melody wise that's like it's fitting, it's bouncing off the drums now a little bit differently. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like where it was like just straight on the downbeat. Now it's like boom tap tap, or like boom. Or like, you know what I mean? It's like it's landing at different measures of the beat, and it's like that's where you can find cool chops to me.
So now you know what just happened.
What's that?
Your Puerto Rican was starting the show.
Yes.
You think of reggaeton
He didn't know it was coming. I wanted to keep going. It's kind of cool.
But
how much is your heritage a part of your background?
Man, I mean, that's why I've always kept my name, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've always I just always went by Hector Delgado. I was proud of my name, and it was like, I wanted everybody, like, there's always been Latinos in music since
Julio Iglesias.
As far as I've been living, especially in urban music, you know what I'm saying? But like, I feel like, we've always been in the background, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, we've always been like the guys behind the scenes and this and that. So it's like, I've always, people, like for me, I've always like, that's why I've always just wanted to let people know that like, like, man, like a guy that does all the ASAP stuff is from Puerto Rico. And, I'm proud of that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of guys in the ASAP are like Spanish as well. I mean,
are they really?
Yeah, they are, you know what I mean? We have a De Vega, it's funny, like, and Yams, like he's Puerto Rican as well. He's mixed, but he's it's like Latinos do a lot of stuff in the music business for sure.
So this is a part of the show where I just randomly ask a stupid question.
Right.
Do you know Bad Bunny?
I don't.
I wish I knew him.
Man, me too. I need that check. It's like I'm proud of, like, it's crazy, like the Latin world has been so like. It's like they love our culture and they love our food, and it's like like things just it's a weird thing that it's with America. It's like they love certain things about it and then they don't. It's like I just don't get that.
I think Americans discovered groove and feeling that didn't exist for a while with drum machines.
Yeah.
And I love drum machines, but West Africa came in, Puerto Rico,
That's
Cuba's
right.
always been here, and. I think we're more susceptible to groove and feel now than we ever were. Like,
rhythm is everything, man. That's the foundation of that's what made like for me, like that's the foundation of like just even a mix in hip hop is like the drums. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just that foundation of that beat, and it's just like it's like a pulsating thing that people just love. You know what I'm saying? It's like hypnotizing.
Like One Dance, the most streamed on Spotify that year, just a straight up West African beat.
That's what I'm saying. It is, and it's like. But it's that's the hard, like that's what I always tell people. That's why I always tell people, like, that's the hardest thing is like really being intricate and being simple at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you have to cater to, like, you have to make something that, like, for me personally, when I'm making something, I try to make something that like my peers will respect me for, and also a layman will get. You know what I'm saying? And that's the hard, like that's the fine balance. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like you're not making some, like I feel like that's where jazz went wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like they got so complex that like the average person couldn't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like you still have to make something that the average person could get. Like when I watch a movie, I'm either entertained or I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like when Steven Spielberg watches the movie, he's like watching for the color correction, the fades and the this and that. Like he's more like you have to make stuff that just the regular person could understand as well. You know what I'm saying?
How'd you come up? How'd you learn? Where'd you learn?
I mean, just like literally just being a fly on the wall. I mean, I just like
before that. Like back in Harlem.
Like, man, like, as far as what?
DJing and learning music and learning how to take those DJ skills and make money with them.
DJing was the first thing I made money off, because I used to DJ parties and high school things and just like whatever. That was the first time, it was like, that was my first thing to like, whoa, I could at least pay my bills with this. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think I could like do this forever, but it was like, like just from I mean, literally learning from the best. Like I literally got to learn from watching the best, and it was like I got to like borrow their techniques and this technique and use live. You know, being Spanish, I got to, I was always around live instruments, so I incorporated live instruments to my stuff, and that's when I met the Fuji. It was like they were doing that too, so it was like whoa, it was like this is something that people are really digging. You know what I'm saying? It was like I was sampling Indian stuff and weird things back then. And it's like people, it's like it was just like. Back then, you strive to be different.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like it's like that was the thing you did. Like people would strive to be different. I didn't want to sound like you. I wanted to like take things that you did that I thought were cool and then elevate that and then twist it and make it my own thing. But
Does the opportunity for you to work outside of hip hop, does that ever come up where you go do that?
yeah, I mean, I do. Like we did the Selena Gomez record. I did production on that as well, and I engineered that.
Do you like doing those kinds
I
of things?
do. Like I feel like I want to start doing more different things. I mean, I do. Like I want to do a lot. Like my musical taste is very
broad.
It is. Like I listen to from country music to to rock to folk to it's. I'm a music fan. I always feel like if it's a good song, it's a good song no matter what genre.
Did I say your credit on a G-Eazy record?
Yeah, I did a
Which
bunch
one
of
was that?
I did his first album that he came out with.
Really?
I
That's a good record.
did production on that, or some engineering on that. Yeah, I did engineering on that.
He seems like a cool guy.
Now, he's a good kid, man. That's what I'm saying. Like that's another kid that came up in my spot too. Like I was like, I got to see all these kids just like grow. And I mean, it's like it's crazy.
What are the differences in the ASAPs?
All the different members.
Ferg is different.
Man, Ferg is like that's the thing that with ASAP. I mean, sonically, musically, everybody does their own thing. Ferg is more of like Ferg is gonna give you the big choruses and like just the party anthems and just go hard. Like his show from when he starts to when it finishes is just nonstop party hard, like just going crazy the whole show. 12 and Nas are more like 90s hip hop with but they'll do any style of music, but their foundation is based on like just like lyrical content and just really just going in on just showing like that New York flavor, and then we have YG Addy Ant, who's he's from B-More and he has more of a SoundCloud next generation futuristic sound, it's all different. And then we have kids that we signed a kid named Smokey Margella, who's 15, 16 now, and we signed him when he was 14, and he's a kid we met in the
Margella,
and we met him in the Bronx, and him and his little Grape Street little cronies are like 15-year-old army of 15-year-old kids were outside of this club that they couldn't get into, and Rocky 12 was performing there, and Rocky walked in, and we walk in the club, and they got stuck outside. 10 minutes later, we look, and they're on stage performing. And they finessed their way on stage, and he bodied it.
Wow.
And then we signed him, and Playboy Cardi's another artist that signed to us at AUG, and he's amazing too. I mean, it's crazy. Like everybody has their own little lane, though. Like Cardi to me, he's more of like a futuristic punk rock, like trap, like it's different. Like his producer Pierre Bourne, who's an amazing kid. I mean, he's a super talented kid. I mean, he's one of those kids that changed music sonically. You know what I'm saying? With his production, I appreciate that. I love kids that are like doing their own little thing.
All right. Well, there are just tremendously gifted Puerto Rican athletes.
Yes.
And baseball is a particular place where they.
Yes.
So, in lieu of that, or in honor of that, it's time for batter's box, and you're facing he's got bat speed. So
I'm not doing it.
Okay, cool. All right, let's move on. You ready?
I forgot about the Puerto Rican baseball thing.
So that's why I'm here. I just want to warn you.
I think I can cut it.
Oh,
right,
man,
you gotta throw it inside.
I'm scared right now.
Ready?
Just give me one word that comes to mind. Reverb.
I use deverb.
Me too. 808s.
Distressor. Or no, can I take that back?
Sure.
Vogue. The voice of God. Yeah, I love
Little
that.
Labs.
Yes.
Kick drums.
Fab filter.
Snare.
Trident, the Universal Audio, the Trident, the plug. I love that. Yeah.
Stereo bus.
The Universal Audio the Shadow Hills. The L
He's good, Herb. He's
2007.
good. He's good.
Yeah.
Herb. Loops.
Loops, sample, Serato sample. That's what I think of Serato sample, loops.
Vocals.
Vocals, the Plug-in Alliance Digital V2. I enjoy that a lot.
Bass.
I would say the Vogue again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Delays.
Anything Sound Toys. I mean, I love all the Echo Boy and Crystallizer.
Limiters.
The L2007, the Massey.
Yeah, you've got too.
Great.
What's the cheapest piece of gear you've used on an important record?
A modified Newmark turntable that is not cheap now, but it started off as a cheap piece of gear. That the open formats guys made for me, that's amazing. It's like this little portable Newmark turntable you can buy for $100 at a Guitar Center, but they modify them and put Serato in there for me. And we use that on the whole album. Like all the stuff that we use, I'm able to DJ a whole show now with this whole little turntable. It's crazy.
It's amazing. Before we let you go, who are the DJs that either influenced you coming up or you really admire now?
Premier. I mean, I love, Q-Bird. I mean, that I love now. I mean, there's a kid named DJ Manuel that's amazing. I mean, he's a kid from LA that's amazing. I'm helping him do some stuff as well. But dudes like that. I mean, I came up with the DJ Screws as well. You know what I'm saying? Just dudes that were
Magic Mike?
Yeah. Magic Mike. Yes. I mean, dudes like that. I mean, it's like the DJs were the shit back then. If I can excuse my French, but that you know what I'm saying? It's like and. I love that, you know what I'm saying? I wish that, it's like it became more boy band smoke and mirrors DJs that took control of the game. But it's like you have dudes that really do this, like Manuel and stuff, that actually need an opportunity to show their skills. And I want to help them do that. You know what I'm saying? Whichever I can do,
Please give your dad our best.
No, thank you.
I know he's still on the island doing his thing, and congratulations on being who you are. And we're shooting this not long after NAMM, where I was walking through a crowd of people at the engineer's booth, and somebody shouted out about my polo shirts, which was
It was you?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Take
so
us
I'll
home.
pay you later for that.
Absolutely. Take us home.
Well, you know what? I notice that when I'm sitting across guests that are famous and so great at their craft like he is, and there's something different about these guys that succeed, and that something is always different within the genre of those people. And today I'm sitting here, and I would trust you with my career, which is trusting you with my income, which is trusting you with my life. And that trust seems to pervade all the guests that we have, and all the guests we have are famous. And without that, it's hard to build a career. So go back and listen to and watch some of the other shows and see if you think I'm right. But one after another, I sit here and try and pick out little pieces of their personality that I think I can incorporate in my skill set. And I don't think it's something that either you have or you don't. But check it out and let me know. Bye-bye.